Greetings to everyone. My name is Marjorie Wollicott, and I'm a neuroscientist at the University of Oregon, and I'm also one of the program directors of the Beyond the Brain conference, which is coming up in November. And I'm here with Stephen Berkley, the director of our Beyond the Brain documentary, Life with Ghosts. And I'm going to ask Stephen a few questions about his own background and about the film. And the first question is this. Stephen, can you tell us if there was a single experience in your life that started your inquiry into whether consciousness extended beyond the physical brain?
Thank you. Great question, Marjorie. I would say that there are two events that I could think of that contributed towards it. One was my favorite cartoon as a kid was Casper the Friendly Ghost. That was my first experience of thinking, oh, this is great. Maybe we go on. Maybe this is just a temporary thing that we're in this body. And the second one was just the feeling when I was playing ball with my friends. I was probably 7 or so. And I remember thinking, wow, I'm an organism and I'm having this experience. And I remember having this kind of moment where I just felt that there's a bigger me somewhere that's looking at this more objectively than through my eyes. Like I had a higher self, or what Abe Lincoln would call higher angels. I don't think I was thinking of Abe Lincoln at the time, but I remember thinking, in retrospect, it must have been my higher angels, like noticing that I was having this human experience. That kind of informed some things. I probably forgot about it the next day, but in that moment, I remember having that experience.
And I think that's amazing. It's amazing that at that young an age, we often have an intuition about those things, whether we could actually explain it rationally to someone else at the moment, we know at a deep level. That's really beautiful.
Oh,
And
good.
now, perhaps I also hope that you can tell us a little bit about what people might expect in the film Life with Ghosts, and tell us maybe a little bit of background about it.
Okay. So I think it's kind of interesting how the film got started. What happened was my father died, and I went down to Florida with my siblings, and we just wanted to take care of my mother. My mother was in really desperate straits. And we went to a grief counselor. She went to support groups. We got her into religious services. We were doing all the conventional things that are supposed to help you deal with grief. And nothing was working at all. Luckily, fortunately, my mother has a sweet little old lady neighbor named Ethel, who came over to the house and said, Irene, we don't talk about this a whole lot, but I do something to help me with when I miss my late husband. I write to him. I write to him every night. I write to him at the same time every night. And it really helps me. It makes me feel closer to him. And then she leaned in real close to my mother and said, and he writes back. So my mother didn't know what this meant. She was kind of freaked out, and she ended up throwing Ethel out of the house. She didn't want to hear this. It was too fresh for her. But I was really interested in Ethel. I said, how cool. She seems like she must be schizophrenic, but I want to know more about Ethel. I went over to Ethel's house, and Ethel proceeded to show me a stack of yellow legal pads. And she pointed to them and said, see those legal pads? That's my post-mortem marriage. I communicate with my husband every night via automatic writing. And this is just wonderful for me. I don't want to push this on anyone else, but I thought maybe your mother could be helped with this. I had not heard of automatic writing, but that sent me on a journey. I researched automatic writing, and I got involved with all kinds of other people that were interested in afterlife aspects. And I spoke to a few professors. One professor who I think you know, Amit Goswami, one of your colleagues. And I was just very intrigued. And I said, you know what, I think there's a documentary here. And so what people can expect basically is they'll get a very unbiased, because I shot it from my perspective. I was not necessarily a believer. I was kind of coming at it very objectively, saying, okay, let me talk to these professors. Let me interview these people. Let me talk to people who are really experiencing touches or bouts with the unseen. And let me see if I could make sense of this. So the whole film was kind of me trying to film something interesting and at the same time learn. And it very much is kind of a noir piece in a way, because the audience is kind of coming along the journey with me.
Thank you. Yes. In fact, I should say to everyone that I have seen the film a couple of times now and really enjoyed it and felt like it was, in some ways, a detective story about like what is really going on here and what can we learn and what is really happening. So I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. Thank
Good.
you.
You're welcome.
And yes, and I want to say that I look forward to hearing a lot more at our Beyond the Brain pre-conference film screening with you and our panel discussion. I will be on the panel and a number of other people that are in the documentary as well. So it is, again, the panel discussion for Life with Ghosts. It's Thursday, November the 2nd from 5 to 8:30 p.m. UK time. And I think it's going to be a wonderful complement to everyone's conference experience that weekend. And to find out more about it, you can go to beyondthebrain.org. So thanks again, both to you, Stephen, and to everyone here. And we will see you in November.
Great. Thank you.